Um, Thanks so much for joining us. I have, many of you have probably seen my face on these Elevate webinars today. My name is Corinne Oki. I am the VP of Community here, and I get the distinct privilege to coordinate all of our monthly Elevate webinars, as well as our Elevate Summit, which I don't have an exact save the date to share with you today, but we will have it for December. But it will be in March this year, March of 2026. So we'll get you those dates so you can block your calendars. Really excited to have you all joining us today. For folks who join us on these on a frequent basis, last month we had some incredible operations, veterans and folks who've been doing this for a long time join us. And it was like kind of an Ask Me Anything from an ops perspective. And our panelists, gave incredible insight and recommendations to everybody. And there was a lot of questions that came in from you guys about how to use Breezeway. And, we really try to keep our Elevate webinars, generally speaking, very thought leadership focused, not a lot about us as a product or as a partner. But you guys, we heard you loud and clear that this would be super beneficial. And so we thought, what more fun than to do this for our November Elevate and have sort of a get more from Breezeway, ask us anything. And so many of you, as you registered, did ask us questions. So we have a ton of questions already shared with us that Julie and I are going to kind of answer and do our best to address. I will give a couple of disclaimers, but before I do, I want to make sure that you all know who is joining me today, because it's not just me today. So I'm going to go ahead and have my good friend, and Julie, we were talking earlier and I said, you've been with Breezeway for what, like 5 years now? Not quite.
No, not quite. I mean,
tell us a little more about you.
Yes. So hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. My name's Julie Lanio, and I am the Director of Client Services. I have been with Breezeway for about 3.5 years. I currently manage the support team and also the Assist product. So it's been a fun year, and I'm looking forward to just sharing some things with you guys today.
Love it. I'm super excited to have Julie here. I will say, when Julie joined Breezeway, we worked really, really closely together. And as our roles have both shifted, I am a little further away from the product now. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I could probably answer some of the questions, but I'm probably not going to be able to answer all of them. And so I tapped in my good friend, and we're really excited to have you joining us today. As we are getting started, housekeeping for folks. One, this is being recorded. You will all get the recording either later today or tomorrow. 2, this session is truly for all of you guys. So use the chat, use the Q&A, ask us questions. Like I said, so many of you that are joining us ask questions in advance. And so we have that whole list, and we're going to try to get through as many of them as we can, but we will also answer additional questions as they come in. So, or we will do our best to try to do that. If we do not get to your question, or if your question is really specific to how you run your business or the integration that you use, we may not be able to address it. And there were already some of those that came in, only because that would be like, it would just be really deep and detailed, and probably not applicable to the rest of the folks on the call. But what we will do with this list and these questions after this webinar, just so everybody knows, is we send this to our client support team, which is comprised of both our support that many of you have probably used through the support at breezeway.io, and also our account managers. And so the folks on those teams will follow up with you guys and can address any of those questions, or we may encourage you to go ahead and reach out to them directly. So with all of those sort of housekeeping things out of the way, are we ready to get started? Okay. I'm gonna say no response. No, nobody said stop in the chat, anything like that. Everybody see the chat, see the Q&A, know where that is, and how to ask questions in there. And maybe a thumbs up from somebody. See it in there? Okay, great. Thank you. Grace sees it. All right, let's get going. So we're gonna come out of the screen share, and we are gonna go into a Breezeway account. And we're going to start talking and answering some of those questions. Julie, do you want to tackle? We got a lot of questions about, how to auto schedule, how to, what are some of the best practices around automating workflows and getting notifications to our team. Do you want to tackle that first one?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so some of the questions that we had were around, how do I get my inspector to, how do I notify my inspector when a clean is done? How do I automate a inspection for a turnover, things like that. So I want to run through that with you really quickly. And also this will give me an opportunity to show you a few of the new enhancements in our workflows that we have. So just going to navigate to settings here, and we are going to go into scheduling. So for a new reservation workflow. So first, let's talk about how we create a workflow that essentially, let's say you want your cleaner to go in, clean the property, and then notify the inspector when that clean's done so they can go in for that last check. So we're just going to go in and we're going to create a new workflow here, and we're going to do new reservation.
Hey, Julie, before you do that, can we just talk for a quick second? Did everybody see that there's that repeating workflow? That's a newer piece of functionality. When you're creating, you have the ability to schedule workflows based off of reservations, based off of it's on my screen, based off of reservations, based off of vacancy, occupancy, and then this repeating. So a lot of folks were really excited. And I just, when you scrolled past it, I said, wait a minute, I want to make sure that we touch on that. So repeating workflows is a really, really good piece of functionality if you guys aren't currently using it. Sorry, Julie, go ahead.
No, and actually we'll put a pin in the automated workflows really quick because there is a new enhancement in the repeating workflows that I can show you all really quick that I think, was highly requested. So if you're scheduling a monthly task. So previously, there weren't a ton of options for this drop down, but now one additional option that we did add, if you select the last day of the month, you will now have the option to schedule a repeating task on the last day of every month. So that was a new small enhancement that we made based on all of your feedback. So just wanted to show you that that was there as well. So back to... And Corinne, my screen.
Yep, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a pop-up that comes up, and Julie and I are sharing the same screen as we're going through this, so we're not like back and forth on screen shares. So
all right, so let's go back to our new reservation workflow, and we have a few new enhancements on here too that I'll kind of walk through. First of all, you want to set your conditions. We have the option all guest types. You can come in here and determine if you want guest or owner. We also have which stage you want to target. So here, and again, we have a lot of help center articles. I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but this is essentially where you can target those lengths of stay. We do have some new filters here for what properties you want to target. Previously, you could only select a building group or tag. Now we have the functionality that you can really drill in. So if we select group, one thing that you can do is select multiple groups now. And it doesn't end there. You still have the ability to add buildings and tags as options and select multiple in each one. So really target those properties for those specific workflows. Now, to the original question, how do I create a workflow that will alert an inspector when a cleaning is done? So essentially, creating a workflow is when you add more than one template into this area right here. So let's say we want to start with a cleaning checklist. So we're just going to do, we'll just go clean, the arrival clean. And then we're going to add another template. So we want our inspector to come in after that. And we're going to do and inspection. So we'll do the arrival inspection. So as long as you have these two tasks in a workflow, when the arrival clean is done, that inspector will get a notification that that task is ready to be completed. Now, if you create a separate workflow here, this will work independently from that workflow you created. So our workflows don't talk to each other. So that's why, creating a workflow this will trigger that notification, but creating a new workflow, they do work independently. Corinne, anything to add there?
Yeah, no, I think yeah, this is super important, right? This is obviously such an important piece of how you use the system. And so, making sure that these tasks are tied together, like Julie said, is really important. And then the other thing is also making sure that your team understands how the notifications work, because that inspector is going to get a notification assuming they have the notifications enabled. So if they've turned off all notifications because they say, hey, I get too many emails, or I don't need a notification every time I get a clean assigned to me, whatever the case may be, then they might have turned that off. That will also mean that they will not get that notification when the property is ready for them to take action on their task. So that is an important, sort of additional piece of this, is you want these tasks to be combined together, but you also want to make sure that from the user perspective, all right, well, that's odd for me. I can't do it. But from the user perspective, you want to make sure that in the notification settings that they actually have the ability to get a notification when there's a task assigned to them. We have some follow-up sort of questions coming on, like, are these templates already created in the system? Is the inspector that will be notified the person assigned to the task? And the answer to that is yes. If Julie is scheduled to do the clean and I'm scheduled to do the inspection, when Julie hits complete, assuming that it's set up in this workflow, then I would get a notification that the property is ready for me. If it's not assigned to anybody, then that would not go anywhere, obviously. But yes, that's how that will work. As for the templates that are already created in the system, we don't create all templates. We have a bunch of like sort of starter templates that are available to you. This arrival and an arrival inspection are probably ones that we just have in here, but we do have templates that are automatically created when all new accounts are built. And you'll see those, they'll say Breezeway added at the start of those, and they live within your departments. Up here in your templates, you'll see a lot of those built out. Not in this particular one, but you will in your account under the template area here.
Also worth noting that we did make another change where you can easily find your templates as well. There we go. If you go into settings under tasks, we do have all of the templates listed here as well now. So you can find them that way. You have the ability to filter by department, and you can search templates. So that is another way to search as well.
And Julie, while we're on here, one of the other questions that we got was, hey, we need additional departments. That's another thing I should have said at the very beginning, guys. Some of the feedback that we got was more product feedback, and we're definitely sharing that with our team. But we won't really address that specifically today because it's sort of more difficult to do. But one of the things I did want to share, because one of the pieces of feedback that we got is we were asking for people to ask us question was, hey, I need more departments, right? You have cleanings, you have inspections, you have cleanings, inspections, and maintenance. If Julie and I had a penny for every time somebody asked us, can we have more departments? We would be on a very nice vacation right now.
Yes.
And you guys, it is coming, and it is coming soon. So the wait is nearly over. I will tell you guys that we have a new safety department that is actually in beta. Folks on that are part of our product circle are using the safety department. That is the first step we're taking into introducing 13 new departments. So we're doing a beta right now with the safety as a fourth department. Then that will go into everybody's account. And then we will do another beta with the larger consortium of additional departments. So it is coming really soon. We appreciate your patience. We know this is going to be hugely impactful for y'all. And I think we are all equally as excited for this as you are. New departments, people always ask, what are they? It's like owner relations, guest services, property services, lost and found, linens, etc. I don't know what all of the names are off the top of my head, but most of the ones that you would suspect and expect to hear from. So I did want to just go ahead and share that out. The other thing is I'm seeing somebody saying, well, we could use a golf cart department. You guys will be also able to, like, if you don't do a specific thing that we have in a new department, you can just use that new department in whatever way makes sense for you. Photography might be coming. I don't want to say for sure, Sarah, but it might be. All right, let's see. What other questions did we have? Was there more we want to talk about? Do you want to talk a little bit about, since we're in here, those notifications, Julie? This is what I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
Where if you are an inspector that is assigned to a task, or even if you're not an inspector, let's say that it's a clean, it's an inspection, it's an owner arrival, somebody from your owner team's going in, this individual task and task assignments, I would encourage almost everyone on your team, except maybe if you're the administrator and you're not actually doing a lot of tasks, to make sure that these, specifically these two, are enabled for all of your team members. Because this is when they get a task, and this is if there are comments or updates to those tasks. So you want to make sure that you've got, that your team has those filled, those completed, and then they can choose, do they want them via email, via text, do they want them as a push notification? And they'll be able to see that. If someone says like, oh no, too many, you'll also notice we have this notification bar. It lives both here on the desktop, but it's also in the mobile app. And this is going to aggregate all of the comments that are in here that are happening across all of the tasks and properties in your portfolio.
And we do have, if you'll see on this side here, we do have the notifications tab as well to get a little bit more granular with some of those notifications. So we've got our tasks, we've got our departments, we've got our payments, messaging, miscellaneous alerts. These are also, sneak peek where those device and lock alerts will be as well. And here you can choose in-app, which essentially in-app notifications come to the notification center, that bell right there as well.
Perfect. All right, I'm looking at this. Most of these were around, looking at some of the questions. Guys, I will say, when you're thinking about creating your workflows, Julie just sort of walked through how to create that. There are a lot of, this can get super complex really fast if you are doing a lot of different, type of work across your properties. But I will say that, there is so much flexibility now in not only when these tasks are scheduled, but you also have the ability to schedule things days before check-in or before checkout. Depending on the integration that you're using, you have the ability to schedule based off of add-ons, or, they may be called something different in your PMS, but reservation add-ons, which are like, hey, this guest decided to buy pool heat. And so I could come in here and I could say, one day before check-in, if the guest has pool heat purchased within our PMS, then schedule a turn pool heat task on. Turn on pool heat, right? Same thing on checkout. So if you're not using this part and you're not sure if your integration supports that, definitely reach out to our team and ask, because this is a huge, really cool, easy way to automate some of the work that you guys still might be doing manually. This could be things like they bought, they're renting a pack and play. They're, they paid for a welcome, there's some sort of special welcome basket. Maybe it's a VIP client, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of really great ways to leverage this, and our team can definitely share some more use cases for that with you.
And as we're on this screen, another enhancement that our team recently did. Prior, you could only schedule up to 5 days before, but we've changed it, and now you can schedule up to 60 days before, just by including that number in that field right there. So that was another recent enhancement that our team did make.
Love that. There's a question in here on, are you able to set different inspectors for different tasks? So if you have somebody who does arrival inspections versus departures, yes, I don't know that it's going to necessarily be at the level of ease in which you want this to happen, Jeff, but yes, you can. So when you go into any property, so we're going to come over here, we're going to go to the properties, and we're going to go into any of these properties in here, and you go to template modifiers and then people. Here's where you're setting up your defaults. So if you've got default people set up, Mason's getting all the cleans, Ben gets the inspections, Tom Brady is our maintenance person. This is who our defaults are going to. But if you say, actually, if it's an owner arrival inspection, I want to send that to Julie, or I want to send that to Connor, I can go ahead and add that person. These task template assignments will override Ben being assigned as the inspector. Because you're saying when an owner arrival is scheduled, it goes to this person. And so while you do need to do this at the property level, you do have the ability to differentiate the different types of tasks being assigned to different people on your team. Yay, awesome. What else do we have on here? Okay, there was one question that came up, and I don't know how many of y'all this will be applicable to. Yeah. One question that came up about, can Breezeway allow a different designation between an owner? We already allow a different designation between owner and guest, but it would be helpful if Breezeway offered an owner guest designation. So that's a different stay type that you recognize in your PMS. For some of our integrations, and Julie, correct me if I'm wrong on this, for some of our integrations, we do show this is a guest of owner, this is an owner guest. It depends on the integration and the PMS that you're using. The only thing is that we don't have the ability to say, I want to schedule as an owner guest, or as a guest. So we only have the functionality built today to schedule based off of guest or owner. So even if we know that it is a guest of owner, you would have to select either an owner or a guest sort of flow for that reservation. You don't have that third option. Definitely something we can share with the product team. Julie, what else do we have in here?
So how can you assign in bulk? If we're talking task templates, our support team can help you with that. If you want to reach out to them, they can walk you through what we would need to assign those templates in bulk. So it is an option, and our support team can do it on the back end for you.
I love it. And guys, if you're not checking out the chat, there's also some good stuff. I've seen, who is this? Destiny, and I hope I pronounced your name wrong, or your name right, says, I already do this, going in and doing what we're looking at here, adding specific people. And Alan, hey Alan, he's suggesting that you can also add a guest tag to the reservation and then filter owner bookings with that tag guest. So that could be a really great sort of workaround to be able to differentiate the work that's being scheduled to an owner versus a guest of an owner versus a traditional guest. Cool. Okay, I'm just reading through to make sure, because this is all for you guys. So we want to make sure. I don't know if everybody that submitted these questions is also on here as well. So I want to make sure that we do get those ones addressed. We did have a question come in through the Q&A. Anything in the works to not get notifications when you're not available on the calendar? I don't want to say that it is coming, because I don't have a sort of like time frame, but I know that some of the more recent some of the more recent improvements that we made specifically around availability was sort of a first step towards being able to better manage when a user is available or not available. So I don't have a specific answer for you, Chris, on that, but I know it is certainly something that we are working through. And for folks who are not familiar with this, the option to set availability, in the past you said, okay, Julie works Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That's it, right? Now you have the ability to say, Julie works Monday through Friday, but she's not available on this Friday, or she's not available on this Friday, and she's not available from, from 1 to, just pick from 1:45 to 5, right? Or that's when she is available. So you do have the ability, right, to now specify on specific dates. So if you do have someone going in and saying, hey, I'm on vacation this week, you can come in and mark them as unavailable. And then when you're scheduling work to them, you will be able to see that and know and then make those necessary adjustments.
We did have some questions around reporting
Yeah.
and some scheduled reporting, so I can talk through that really quick. So we did have one question around automated reports, and we do have that ability now. So essentially, when you come into your tasks page, obviously you want to set your parameters, the type of task that you're looking at, your date parameters. And then once you do that, we've got this little button here, schedule and export. So that will give you the option to schedule that export for when you need it. So daily, weekly. So when you come in here, you can determine which report you want to export, name it, set the schedule, daily. We've got daily, weekly, monthly, time of day, and then it's going to show you what you're exporting. You have your date restriction here that you can change if you so choose, and then put your email in where you want that export to go. So then once you set those, you do have a way to manage those. So those will drop in here. We don't have any scheduled here, but then you can edit and update those as necessary. So that is a newer feature that you do have available to you.
And yeah, one of those questions around like, hey, I want to be able to send, I think one of the examples was like, I want to be able to send all of our completed tasks to our accounting team every Monday morning. Really easy way to do that, like Julie said. There was also another question about reporting around like, hey, I get, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not reading the specific question, but we run the export and then we go in and we edit the Excel file the CSV file that you send to us. And so it is super, this functionality has been around for a little bit, but I'm always surprised by the amount of people who don't know about this piece of functionality. So I want to take just a minute to answer that question, but also to make sure that all of y'all who are on here know that this is available. So when you come into any of your, let me see everything that was completed over the last, the last 30 days. I get my list here. As you guys know, you have the ability to export those, but what you might not be as familiar with is the ability over here to customize this. So if you've ever exported something from Breezeway, we send you so much information, but you may say, I care about 5 pieces of information on that export. I don't care about comments. I don't care about, whether it was part of a workflow or not. I don't care about, the tags or whatever the case is. I'm just like kind of picking some of these as we go, but I do care about something that is not currently included. I want to know when it was created and how long it took to complete. Those are things that are important to me. So I can come in here and I can customize this. Now, when I do that, something that we want to do so that you don't have to come in and customize this every time, because maybe I also just want to look at this for my, I think, what did you use earlier, Julie? You used like your Tennessee units, right? I just want to look at that, those properties for this. So every time you want to run that report or you want to see that, you don't want to have to come in, customize that list, add your filters, etc. So you want to make sure that you are then saving this as a view, and you can save it as a new view that is then available either to your entire company, or maybe it's just something that you need to look at. So it's available only to you. You can control that in full, entirely. Individual report. I'm just going to put that in here, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that. 2 weeks down the line, you want to see the same group of reports. You're going to come in, you're going to go into our maintenance, and you're going to come up here where it says maintenance. And all of a sudden, here's that report, and it pulls everything that we just looked at. What this also means is that because it is a customized view, because I have, you also have the ability to sort of change the order in which these things show up on the page as well. So if you see this as I make these changes, comments is now going to show up above, comments will be over here. actually it isn't because I don't have it turned on. So that was silly to show you. Now your comments are right here in front of that. So this information is here. But now when I want to export this and I go up to export to CSV, I can export this custom report. So now I'm only getting those fields and those columns that are actually important to me and relevant. And so it saves you time once you take information out of Breezeway as well. So wanted to make sure that everybody sort of knew that that was available. What else is coming in here? I'm looking to see. There's a question in here. Our cleaners complete the standard departure bedroom tasks, but they also have to open a separate property specific tab to view staging photos. What's the best way to merge these so the cleaners can see both? I am going to say, Cameron, Brittany answered this for you. Never mind.
Yes.
I was going to say, Cameron, email our support team. We can walk you through, make you a quick video on how to do this. Because it would be, I wanted them to see how it has, but Brittany's advice in here is awesome. Okay. Yeah, Catherine, you're asking, is there a way to save how the columns are organized so that it's that way every time? When you customize that view, and when you save that view, then that's how you're going to see these. So I'm going to save this view. I'm just saving it. I didn't have to rename it because this was an existing one. So if we go out of this page, we go into reservations, we come back in and we go back to maintenance, you're seeing it in the same, because we're still looking at that individual report that we just set up, you're seeing it in the same way. So yeah, you can sort of set your new defaults on here. All right. What other questions did we get? Oh, do you have one, Julie? Do you want to, I mean, there's so many of them. We're just trying to pick and choose some.
Well, I was just looking at Adrian, that he can't select all lines if the report has 100+ lines. And if I remember correctly, there's a pop-up that shows if it's more than 100 lines. Is that?
Oh, yeah. So if you wanted to select everything, so let's just go into maintenance in general. And you want to select them. There's a lot of them in here, so it's taking a second. And you want to go through and select all of these tasks. So you only have the ability to select 100. If you wanted to select all, Julie, you are correct. This pop-up will show up and you can select all 214. Guys, as in most tech, a lot of these things happen because other things happen. And they're things that you guys don't know anything about. I can tell you that the reason that we do it this way is because there were multiple clients, multiple occasions of where someone would come in and they would try to be deleting tasks. When it selects everything, they would ultimately delete like hundreds of tasks in error. And so now we put this sort of like disclaimer in that says, hey, do you want just these 100 you selected, or do you want all of them? Do you want to delete? Are you sure you want to delete them? No, I'm not sure. Let me go back. I didn't mean to do that, right? So that's why, but you do have the ability to select all of them after the fact. And I know this from firsthand experience because it happened a very, very long time ago. And it happened with a West Coast, I can remember who it was. It happened with a West Coast client. And so it would always happen on a Friday at like 7 p.m. on the East Coast, which is where we were. And so the team was scrambling and we thought, hey, here's a better solution. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. And so that's why you now see that in there. What else, Julie? What other questions do we want to cover on here?
Well, one question I think that we get as a whole that I would like to highlight is a new auto message feature that we have for for our messaging clients. So I'm just going to go ahead and navigate to messaging. So the good news is that you can now start your guest journey in Breezeway even earlier. So you'll see, this may look different than your messaging. This is our team messaging feature over here. It is in beta now, but it will be available to all messaging clients, I think this quarter, right,
Yeah,
Corinne?
early, or I think it's early December. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but auto messages. So, one highly requested feature that we have been asked for is an auto message that goes out when a reservation comes into Breezeway. And I am happy to report that that is now an option. So, when you come in to create your new auto message and you choose the event, we have a reservation imported. Field now. So it's essentially as soon as that reservation comes in, you have the ability to send that guest a welcome message, which I know we were all really excited about. Hopefully that'll be really impactful for you as well.
And I think there's some other, probably some other things on here that I know this isn't a question, but I do just, since we have this up, I want to make sure that everybody is also seeing the ability to send messages based off of arrival rating. Julie, would you click on that guy for me?
Sure.
Um, so you have the ability to send out an arrival rating to folks if, you know, 2 hours after the check-in, to ask them how their stay is going. They'll be able to give it back to you in a 1 to 5 star review. You also have the ability, and I'm just going to click into another one, and I want to, shoot, where was it? There we go. I want to also come back in here. When you came in here to the very beginning, I just want to highlight this because I got this question at a conference earlier this year, and I thought, oh, everybody has this going on. If you are looking at your messages, guys, and you do not have this always send this message selected, you want to select that. What this means is that, let's say you say, you know, 5 days before check-in at noon, send this message. But what about when you get a reservation that is booked 2 days before check-in, right? They're not going to necessarily get this message unless you have this always send message enabled. So this is a great way. That the client that I was talking to was like, we've had a couple instances where they haven't gotten our guidebook. And when we came in here and we looked, when they send their guide, this wasn't selected. And I said, take a look back and see if those were like sort of last minute bookings. And they were like, it is, they were. And so we were able to secure that and resolve that issue for folks by having that in there. What does repeating mean under conditions? You want to take this, Julie? You want me to?
You can.
Okay. So folks, if you aren't using a system like CanMonkey, or I think there's another company that is doing this as well, right? Where you have trash barrels that have to come in every week. You have trash barrels that have to go out every week. If that's not something that your property management company sort of, if it's not a service that your team offers, you're sending messages to your guests about this. So you could say every week on Tuesday at, you know, I don't know, whatever time you want to send it, right? 8 a.m. I'm going to send this message, but I'm only going to send this message to my properties that are in this particular part of my portfolio because that's their trash day, right? So these are repeating tasks that you can send for regular reservations. And they're not just like they're going out on a regular occasion.
Greg has a question. We would like to send an auto message based on an upcoming task, such as a vehicle shuttle. It's not a feature that we have right now. I think it's a great addition, though. We could definitely submit that as feedback. Any workarounds that you can think of for that, Corinne, though?
Pick up your car at the airport tomorrow. Well, first of all, great service, Greg. You're going to pick my car up for me. That's amazing.
So essentially a task-based.
Let me think on this one. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could, if we look at auto mess, you probably wouldn't want it. Well, I mean, it could be an auto message, but then it would have to be like an auto message. Let's play this out. I don't know, Greg. But here's our auto message. We want to send it. We only want to send it. You know what it is? Now it'll be tough because it's not task based, it's property based.
Right.
If there's specific properties that have cars that come with them and you need to pick those up, then you could potentially come in here and say, I want to do it based off of the task tag the property tag of car. We don't have that in here, so we'll say the property tag of hot tub, and I want to send that on checkout the morning of. But if it's specific to the reservation, that's going to be a little trickier. But if it's specific to a set of properties, this could definitely work. And guys, I found out, I earlier was trying to show you something. This is what I was actually trying to show you. So you are, if you're not using our guest sentiment, that's newer functionality. This is a really cool piece of functionality where AI is reading your guest's message that comes in, and it says, hey, this guest is happy. This guest is not happy. This guest is neutral. Maybe you want to send this message out and you want to send a message to everybody who is satisfied or highly satisfied on the day of check-in at noon. You want to send this message to them. And so that is a really great way where you're going to be, sort of proactively reaching out to the folks who are happy. Or, you could do it on the flip side too. You want to be able to ask those guests who are unhappy how you could have made something better. You probably already know the answer to that because you've been dealing with them for their entire stay. But this is another really good one. Get some good feedback in here from Brittany. Greg, if you want to take a look in there in the chat. What else we got, Julie? We have a couple more minutes. I have one more that I was going to answer, but anything else that you've been eyeing to get answers to?
Is there a way to have certain tasks automatically become guest text tasks? So, I mean, I guess we could, I guess I'd like a little more, let's see, the service.
Actually, I think you should be able, I don't know if you would do this on a repeating basis. Let us think about that. That could be an interesting one. One I do want to answer, a question that we got was around, we need to be able to improve communications with our owners in terms of reporting on tasks that we finish. So guys, I'm going to come in here and I want to make sure, again, go into properties. I'm going to pick a property. We're going to come down here to property settings. I think that's the right spot to go. Yep. Okay. And then we're going to have our owners. So if these are your own, this is the owner of this property. You have the ability, and it might be off for some of you, but you're going to have the ability to enable owner reporting. Now, when you enable owner reporting, you have got the ability then to do a ton of customizations. Maybe not all the customizations that you would like, but we're continuing to build on this and iterate on it. But you have the ability to say, hey, I want to include all the tasks that are done, or I only want to include maintenance tasks, or only, I don't know, owner, maybe you only want to send them your deep clean, right? Maybe that's all you want to send them. So you can select department or you can select template. Then you say, when do you want to send them? I am happy to report that some of the folks on this call were really instrumental to say, hey, I want to send this weekly on Tuesday at 12:15. When we first launched this, we said, we'll send it every Monday for you at 8 a.m. And the feedback we got was like, holy crap, you guys are bombarding us on Monday morning. So we don't want to do that. So because of feedback that we received, you now have the ability to determine when these reports go out. So you send them weekly, you can send them daily, you can send them monthly. You have all the different things that you want to have done. And then down here, you feature what is included. And so what are we including? We're including our task log. We're including descriptions. We're including task links in that report. You can control what's included in there. And then you can also test and see what that's going to look like. So I could send this to myself right now. I'm going to send this to myself, or I'm going to send it to the property owner. I'm going to send it to Jessica. And then that's what I want to have happen. Or I can say I'm going to send it to myself. And I'll have the ability to go ahead and send that now, or I want to send it to someone else. And because we are not logged in as either myself or Julie, we will go ahead and I can send that over to myself. So I did want to just also address that because that was a question that we got from folks. There was this question that came in, the way to get notifications via text. You want to take this question from Ingrid, Julie, or you want me
So
to?
yeah, so we do have the watch task feature. Are you asking for yourself, Ingrid, or are you wanting to watch a task that you're not assigned to? Is that what you're asking? Yes.
Yep.
So we do have a watch task feature here. It is new. And let's see here. So essentially, you can go into any task. And we have this eye feature right here. And when you click it, it will you'll receive updates in the notification center, and you'll see that you are watching it.
When I watch, yeah, someone's saying when I watch tests, it doesn't notify me differently than the typical email.
Yeah, it should pop into here into the notification center, and you'll see here we have this tab for watching, and it will show all the tasks that you're watching and any updates there in the notification center, which you can get on the mobile app as well.
Another piece of that that could also be beneficial is we do have the ability to mention someone in tasks today, which was another recent improvement. I'm just going to go into this. We'll go here. I'm going to come into this task that is in progress, and I could say, hey, I want to go ahead and mention Garrett. Okay, well, I am logged in as Garrett, so I'm going to mention Aga to say, might want to give the owner a heads up on this, right? So I can add that, and even though it is assigned to Maria Jose, when I mention Aga, she's going to get a notification about that, and we're going to track all of that directly here at the task level. There was also a question that came in here around. Ooh, that's a great question, Sarah. I don't know the answer. Julie, do you know, is there a way to see which owners are receiving reports, or do you have to go into every property?
You would have to go into the properties. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Good product feedback.
Great product feedback.
How can we put a permanent note in the description box of the task? What I love about doing these webinars is that everybody always helps everyone out. And so
Yes.
this is so exciting that we already had somebody address that, but what who said it, what Greg suggested, right, is go into template modifiers, select the template, and then go ahead and add that. Another way that you could do it is at the property level. You could go into that element, and you could put you could go into that element, go into the interior, go into the bedrooms, right? And let's say I'm going to just add a floor in here, because I don't have it. But then at that floor level, I can add notes. So I have the ability to come in here and edit this and say only use Bona. I'm not sure what that is, but maybe something I had to look at for my hardwoods. Only use Bona for cleaning, right? I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to save it. And now when the team is out in the field, they will see a more info line on this specific area or this particular part of the property, and they'll be able to also see that. So that is another one in addition to the template modifiers. All right. Oh my gosh, we could literally do this for hours. We're not going to get through all of these. We didn't even get through all the ones you guys sent in. Anything that is like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about. Oh, Julie, one question that we got, there were some questions that came in that said, hey, I'm a messaging client. I got an email that I have access to Blueprint. What does that mean?
Ooh, yes.
You know, that's your baby. Like
It is my baby. I will be happy to talk about Blueprint. So, Blueprint is essentially, so anyone who has messaging, and if any of you are Assist clients, you're probably very familiar with Blueprint, but Blueprint can be really helpful as a messaging client as well if you have your internal staff handling your messages. Essentially, it houses all of your standard operating procedures across your properties. So it is the notebook icon here. And so when Blueprint is loaded into your account, we do load default articles. So this is based on, feedback from clients, kind of just standard operating procedures across the industry. But the nice thing is Blueprint is totally customizable. So, if there is an article in Blueprint that you need to add that we haven't added for you, you can very easily come in here, hover over the section title and add an item. So from here, you're able to add the title, add a general description of, that specific process that you want to highlight. You can also add messaging templates, which if you are an assist client, this is a game changer for us because we can, you can create those responses, how you want the assist team to respond to, maybe some of those common questions that you get. So you can create those templates in messaging and add them here as necessary. If you're using our upsells, you can, add recommended upsells. If there's a task required, once you toggle this on, it is going to allow you to select the department. Also, when we get additional departments, this is going to be fantastic as well. And then you can add assignees. You can add multiple assignees. So essentially what Blueprint is a guideline for Assist or your internal teams on how to handle different guest situations. We have this great search feature up here that will allow you to drill into those articles because, we know that you have a very comprehensive process across your properties. So Blueprint is just a great place for you to essentially house all of your operational procedures. And it is also, I like to show this because it is one of my favorite features. It is also housed in messaging. So if you're communicating with a guest, we have Blueprint right here. Blueprint, we can search here for those articles, quickly find, what we need to tell that guest. If a messaging template is associated with it, we can drop that template right in there and send it off. So it really it makes this guest communication a lot more seamless, and you're telling guests exactly what you want them to know, essentially.
And it's worth noting, guys, everything that we have covered today, except for messaging, right? And Julie mentioned assist a couple times. Everything that we have physically shown you, if you are an ops client, you have access to, or if you are a messaging client, you have access to. So none of this functionality has any additional cost to you. Of course, if you want to use Blueprint and you're not using messaging, well, then we need to have a conversation because you do need to have either messaging or assist to have access to it. But everything that we've shown is included, which is really exciting. I do also want to show you guys two things. Just because we've talked a lot about like contacting our support team. We've talked a lot about, our help center as well. We talked about product feedback. So you have this little question mark here, and within there, you've got access to our help center. Julie and her, well, I don't know, Julie, if you still do the help center, you were for a long time running it. Okay. So Julie is helping create all of these help guides for you guys on a regular basis. They are incredibly useful. There's often videos, there's tons of screenshots, step-by-step instructions. If there is something that you would love to see in Breezeway that's not in there today, submit an idea. When you click on this submit an idea, you get to say, what is it? Why would it be helpful? And what parts of the platform would you use it in? This information goes directly to our product team. They're looking at that, they're categorizing it. And then when they are ready to work on something, they might do discovery calls with you. They might call and say, hey, how would this be useful for you? There might be an opportunity to be part of the beta on that particular program. So submit these ideas. The more that we get the feedback from you all, the more we know this is something that's going to be really impactful. Or again, if you need to contact our support team. So some folks have a client success manager and you may reach out to an individual directly. Other times you kind of going through our support team, and our support team is really doing a lot of like, hey, I want to bulk upload those inspectors that need to be assigned, or hey, I have this question about X. So you can contact support directly from here as well. So I did just want to call out these three items here because they're available and in the account for you guys. Julie talked a little bit when she was in here about where's it at? Where's messaging? Give it to me. Here it is, messaging. She kind of very slightly, she threaded the needle here on this. I don't even know if that's the right word. It sounded right. On the team and owner messaging. So that is a product, that is a feature that is currently in beta. We've got a group that has been testing that, and it is going to be rolling out in early December. So we aren't adding anybody else to the beta on team and owner messaging quite yet, or right now, because we're already pretty far into it. However, we do have what is called Product Circle. There is a help guide on Product Circle. It's something that I run. And it is a group of folks who are like, hey, I would potentially like to have access to new features. I'd like to participate in betas. If this is something that you are interested in, you can email community@breezeway.io. When there are new beta opportunities, there are usually limited spots, might be 5, might be 10, might be 20 companies. So I email that whole group and I say, hey, we're doing a beta on X. Is this something that's of interest to you? You respond, you raise your hand. And then when it's ready, we create a Slack program, a Slack channel, and we turn it on for your account. So community@breezeway.io, if you want to just email me and say, hey, I'm interested in Product Circle, I will get you on that list and include you for future opportunities. And I think I have a meeting later today about one that's going to launch even before the end of the year. So thank you. Oh, Julie, that just went to us. We got to just send it to everybody.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll get that out. There are still a lot of questions that we did not get to answer. But we are not leaving you. We're not gonna leave you high and dry here. So we will get those over to the right folks on the team. As we want to close this up, we want to say thank you, Julia. I want to say thank you to you.
Well, of course,
a couple new things.
This was fun.
So fun. I'm going to also ask you, if you are going to email, Julie just put the community email address in there. Send me ideas of what would be helpful. What types of webinars would you like to hear in the future? Is this helpful coming through? Would it be helpful to have a webinar where we talk just about messaging and how you can get more out of messaging? Is there a topic about your business that you would be really interested in hearing about? Would you like to be a panelist on a webinar? That community@breezeway.io comes to me. So please feel free to email me with ideas. Eventually I run out of them. And so I want to make sure that we're also having relevant conversations. And so please do feel free to reach out. And even if it's not something that we can do or might be really specific to you, we can always connect you to your CSM so that they can help with that. As we close it out, I do want to just put in a shameless plug. We have one final Elevate webinar left. We are going to probably unveil our big Elevate dates for March. So you don't want to miss this one. There's a QR code. You can register today. It's going to be on guest communication and how delivering that great guest communication leads to 5-star experiences. And so December 11th at 3:00. So 1 hour later than we started today. We've got a great group of folks who are going to be panelists on that as well. Anything else, Julie? Any final thoughts?
No, I would just say that we have our smart locks product launching on Monday. We'll have all of the Help Center articles live. There will be some great videos to walk you through. And if it's something you're interested in, reach out to your client success manager or support, and we're happy to give you more information.
I know we were going to do a sneak peek on locks, and then we got so into questions.
I know.
And so, does everybody on the call know that we're launching locks? Are people familiar with that? Yes, no, maybe. Couple people. Okay.
All right.
All right. It's okay. A pretty good mix of yes and no's in there. But yeah, this will be really exciting. We're gonna we are not okay. Some people said I already had a meeting. We are going to be supporting the locks. We are not selling the physical locks, but it's a really, really cool piece of functionality that the team's been working on. So that's launching next week. So stay tuned. I'm sure you'll get an email about it. All right, everybody. Thank you all. Julie, thank you for coming on and joining. This was so fun, and we should definitely do it.
Yes.
Do it more frequently.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. If you are in the US, have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate, and we'll hope to see you all here on December 11th for our next Elevate. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Bye.